from Nepali Congress lawmaker Aftab Alam has been extended as he remains in custody over the charges of bomb blast and subsequent murder of the injured in the incident. 10 others have also been accused of the involvement in the crime that took place 12 years earlier on the eve of the first Constituent Assembly elections in 2008. If convicted, Alam will be slapped with a jail sentence for the maximum of 32 years. Good morning, I'm Amit Pakarel and these are the top stories this hour. Taking statement of Nepali Congress lawmaker Muhammad Aftab Alam extended. Alam accused of involvement in the Raspur bomb blast and subsequent murder of injured. An analysis by the US says Nepal is at high risk of terrorism, open border with India and weak security system at airports, the main reasons. A global group of around 11,000 scientists endorse research that says the world is facing a climate emergency. A Nepalese cricket squad playing the first-class match at TU ground after 14 years, taking an MCC at a 3-day tournament starting today. The Rohtak District Court has started taking statements of Nepali Congress lawmaker Muhammad Aftab Alam accused of involvement in the Raspur bomb blast and subsequent murder of injured by burning them in a brick kiln back in 2008. The bench led by Justice Deepak Takal recorded Alam's statement yesterday, which will continue today as well, as the hearing could not proceed following technical difficulties. The Rohtak District Court will decide later today whether to release Alam on bail or not after the court completes taking Alam's statement. The Government Attorney's Office Rohtak had filed the charge sheet against 11 people, including Alam, on Monday for murder, attempted murder and the use of explosives. Based on the charge sheet, Alam and the 10 others have been accused of the involvement in a bomb explosion that took place 12 years ago, on the eve of the first Constituent Assembly elections in 2008. The other 10 charged for the case are Mobin Alam, Sheikh Faiz Sheikh Saroz, Sheikh Fazlek Sakir Alam, Sheikh Malkar, Gauri Sankar Shah, Badri Sahani and Mukti Shah. If proven guilty, Alam will be sentenced to 32 years in prison. A report on terrorism released by the United States Department of State publication of counterterrorism has stated Nepal experienced no acts of international terrorism in 2018. However, there were incidents of domestic terrorism in the year 2018. We have a report.
The United States Department of State publication of counterterrorism released Country Reports on Terrorism 2018. The report has stated Nepal experienced no acts of international terrorism in 2018. However, there were domestic terrorist incidents that included small bombings in various locations throughout the country. According to the report, the government of Nepal attributed most of the attacks to the Communist Party of Nepal, a Maoist faction also known as the Netra Bikram Chand Group or Biplav Group, which split from the mainstream Communist Party of Nepal, Maoist Center, in 2015. The report also stated Nepal has and could continue to be used as a transit for international terrorists due to open border with India and insufficient security protocols at the country's sole international airport in Kathmandu. The primary constraint preventing more robust border control capability has been attributed to lack of resources. The report also suggests security services lack the personnel, technology, databases, basic equipment, and often even electric power to provide effective border control. Additional constraints include lack of training and widespread corruption. Airport security controls in Nepal have been defined as weak and inadequate. The country's only international airport, Tribhuvan International Airport, does not pre-screen passengers and landing data are not entered into any database. The report further states, while the government of Nepal has made symbolic progress in constructing an AML-CFT regime, which refers to various techniques used to launder money or finance terrorism, additional work is required to develop expertise in financial crimes awareness, prevention, identification, investigations, case management, interagency and departmental coordination, and border control.
And time now for a short break. For more news, do stay with us. Welcome back after the break. 4 major vehicle accidents took place in the vicinity of Kathmandu around this year's Dasai and Tihar festivals. The major reasons behind the accidents were overcrowded vehicles and negligence of drivers and bus owners. Sunday's bus accident near Sukute in Sindhupalchok district claimed the lives of 18 people and injured 50 others. The ill-fated bus was carrying passengers double its capacity. Likewise, a bus coming from Sindhupalchok met with an accident at Kathmandu's Sako, in which 3 people lost their lives and 60 others were injured. The accident also caused due to overcrowding of passengers.
Passenger 140 जना थिए माथि छतमा थिए होला 40-50 जना जति सबै झरेर 17-18 जना मरे मलाई कुन्जले फाल्दै कि अब म आफै झरे मलाई केही होसै छैन.
And another accident involving a bus traveling to Kathmandu from Sindhupalchok's Potsipa that overturned near Pimtar. 11 people were killed and more than 100 were injured. Likewise, a vehicle accident that took place at Marpak in Thading district claimed the lives of 19 people. Although the government had announced the removal of syndicate in transportation, it has not been able to implement the rule in practice. Due to the syndicate still in effect, vehicles have been operating by carrying passengers way more than their capacity, which is the main reason for the recent accidents that have claimed so many lives. Even within the Kathmandu Valley, 14 people lost their lives in traffic accidents during the Dasai festival alone. According to traffic police, the accidents have been occurring due to overcrowding of vehicles, overspeeding, drinking under the influence of alcohol, among other reasons. It's time now for the international update. A global group of around 11,000 scientists have endorsed research that says the world is facing a climate emergency. The study, based on 40 years of data on a range of measures, says governments are failing to address the crisis. Without deep and lasting changes, the world is facing untold human suffering, the study says. The researchers say that they have a moral obligation to warn of the scale of the threat. The new study says that simply measuring global surface temperatures is an inadequate way of capturing the real dangers of an overheating world. So the authors include a range of data which they believe represents a suite of graphical vital signs of climate change over the past 40 years. These indicators include the growth of human and animal populations, per capita meat production, global tree cover loss, as well as fossil fuel consumption. An emergency means that if the humans do not act or respond to the impacts of climate change by reducing their carbon emissions, reducing livestock production, reducing land clearing and fossil fuel consumption, the impacts will likely to be more severe than the humans experienced to date, according to the lead author, Dr. Thomas Newsom from the University of Sydney. And time now for another short break. For more news, do stay with us. In our public voice segment, we asked the local representatives at Thankuta district what laws do the local levels lack that have obstructed their works. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public voice.
संघीय सरकारको ऐनहरु हेर्यौं शिक्षा ऐन प्रदेश सरकारको शिक्षा ऐन अहिलेसम्म पनि नबनेकोले गर्दाखेरि सबैभन्दा ठूलो क्षेत्र चाहिँ शिक्षा भएको र शिक्षा ऐन नै बनाउन नसकेको पास गर्न नसकेको हुनाले शिक्षामा धेरै सबैभन्दा जटिलता शिक्षा क्षेत्रमा हामीलाई अप्ठ्यारो परेको छ.
संघका छुट्टै प्रदेशका छुट्टै स्थानीय तहका छुट्टै अधिकार क्षेत्रहरू पनि छन्. तर कतिपय चाहिँ कि हामीले दैनिक काम सञ्चालन गर्नुपर्ने र चाहिँ के भने दैनिक रेखदेख गर्नुपर्ने कतिपय हाम्रा बाजिने कानुन भित्रै पर्छन्. जस्तै सहकारी भयो, शिक्षा भयो, हैन, यस्ता थुप्रै कानुनहरू छन्.
हामी भन्दा माथि प्रदेश र संघको कानुन नबनिरहेको एउटा अप्ठ्यारो जटिलता, पहिलो जटिलता त्यो, दोस्रो चाहिँ विज्ञताको अभाव.
It's time now for our segment, Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
And the question is, what is the major reason behind the out-of-control inflation? And options are A, high-handedness of businesses, the lack of government intervention, and C, flawed monetary policy. The voting is on. Type any WS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Now the sports update.
Sports news.
The 3-day cricket tournament between Nepal and Mali-born Cricket Club MCC is starting from today. The match is slated for 9 a.m. kickoff later this morning at Kantipur's DU ground. This is the first time after 14 years that the Nepalese squad is playing the first-class matches at its home ground. The first-class match slated last year against Sri Lanka had been washed out due to rain. Captain Kanendra Malla, along with almost everyone from the Nepalese national squad, are debuting in the first-class match today. Only Sompal Kami and Sarat Veswakar in the Nepalese team have the experience of playing the first-class international match, which is considered a milestone for the development of the national cricket. However, it has not yet been determined whether or not Nepalese leg spinner Sandeep Lamichhane is playing for the 3-day format. Former captain Paras Khadka is also not in the Nepalese squad for the tournament. It's time now for our special segment, Laugh Out Loud.
The main opposition Nepali Congress President Sher Bahadur Deuba was in the thick of action again, becoming the laughingstock one more time due to his verbal outburst against the youth cadres of his own party. The popularity of Deuba has nosedived over the years due to his inability to control his temper in a number of instances. Deuba was at it again last Friday when he visited the party office for a central committee meeting of the party that was to decide on the nomination for the upcoming by-elections. When the youth cadres started sloganeering against the high-handedness of Deuba in the party affairs, Deuba started abusing them, even using some offensive language. The youth leaders of the party have been charging the party president of trying to give election tickets to candidates against the existing party statute. The youth leaders are also against Deuba for his inclination towards his favorite candidate for the post of Nepal Student Union president that has remained vacant for the past 9 months after the resignation of Nayan Singh Mahar. According to the new party statute that was endorsed by the 12th General Convention of Nepali Congress, a candidate for the post of NSU president should not exceed the age bar of 32 years. However, Deuba is in the mindset of openly flouting this provision by recommending the name of 47-year-old leader Rajiv Dhungana, whose sources claim is close to Deuba. And last Friday, when the youth cadres were opposing against Deuba's modus operandi, the party president lost his cool for one more time. This is Bipashna Tamang for Kantipur News Desk.
And before we wrap up, a reminder of the top stories. Statement of Nepali Congress lawmaker Alam extended. Alam accused of involvement in the Rajpur bomb blast and subsequent murder of Injert. An analysis by USS Nepal is at high risk of terrorism. Open border with India and weak security system at airports, the main regions. A global group of around 11,000 scientists endorsed research that says world is facing a climate emergency. Nepalese cricket squad playing the first-class match at TU ground after 14 years, taking an MCC on the 3-day tournament starting today. And that's all for this hour. Have a good day.